The great philosopher Marcus Aurelius once gave us a perspective that echoes down the centuries. If you are upset by something external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your evaluation of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any time. This simple, yet profound statement reminds us of the power we have over our own emotions and the fundamental role our mind plays in creating our emotional well-being. These days we are bombarded by a flood of intense emotions: anger, anxiety, disgust, hatred, envy, laziness. They always seem to be lurking, ready to drag us into the maelstrom of emotional turmoil. But where can we find calm in the midst of this storm? Where can we find the key to controlling our emotions and not being overwhelmed by them? This is where Stoicism comes in. This ancient philosophy offers a timeless guide to personal mastery and inner peace. By exploring the principles of Stoicism, we can learn to face life's challenges with unwavering calm and develop a strong character that allows us to thrive, regardless of external circumstances. Now, let's embark on a journey of discovery together, exploring 7 important lessons from Stoicism for dealing with our emotions and cultivating a resilient mindset. Before we dive into this wealth of knowledge, make sure you subscribe to the channel to receive a daily dose of Stoic wisdom. We're about to unlock secrets that could transform your life. Lesson 1. Know what is within your control. Have you ever found yourself in the middle of difficult times? Not necessarily storms or earthquakes, but situations that take you by surprise. These are things we don't expect, disappointments or sudden changes in life. The ancient Stoic philosophers of Greece and Rome had a very useful idea to help us through these times, called the dichotomy of control. Let's think of it this way. You're planning a trip. You pack your bags, you check everything so you don't forget anything. But when you get close to boarding, you discover that the flight has been cancelled because of a storm. In this situation, you have no control over the weather or the airline's decisions, no matter how hard you try. But how you react to this cancellation is up to you. Now, it's time to think about what to do. You can get upset, complain, and even fight with the airline staff. Or you can calm down and wait for the next flight. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who started out as a slave and became one of the most important thinkers of his time, said something very simple about this. Some things are under our control and others are not. Sounds easy, doesn't it? But this simple idea is very wise and can change our lives if we think about it. Every day we face many situations. Some we can control, such as our routines, the books we choose to read, and the friendships we cultivate. But many things are beyond our control, such as politics, the exchange rate, the actions of others, the weather, and of course, the climate. And here's the interesting thing. The Stoics thought that our well-being didn't depend on these external events, but on how we interpreted and responded to them. It's not what happens that makes us feel a certain way, but how we interpret what happens. And it's this interpretation that makes us react in a certain way. So it's not just what happens and how we interpret it, but also the reaction that comes from it. Think of a time when you faced a problem, such as the bankruptcy of a business you had started with a lot of effort. At the time, it probably seemed terrible, a big defeat that really hurt you. But over time, you may have realized that it turned out to be a good thing, paving the way for something even better, or helping you to grow and become stronger. So, if the next time you start a new business, you'll be better prepared than before. You'll have more experience and you'll know how to deal better with the challenges you faced the first time. In practice, applying this principle in everyday life may seem challenging, but it's totally feasible. Start by reflecting on the situation you're facing and ask yourself a simple question. Can I control this? If the answer is yes, then it's time to act. Identify the measures you can take to deal with the situation effectively and positively. Taking control of the circumstances we can influence is the first step towards overcoming obstacles. However, if the answer is negative, this offers us a valuable opportunity to practice acceptance and adaptation. The Stoics understood that we can't always control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react to these events. This ability to adapt is essential for our personal evolution and for facing the challenges that life throws at us. By internalizing this principle, we can learn to let go of unimportant worries that only consume our energy and cause unnecessary anxiety. We recognize that many of the worries that assail us are beyond our control and therefore don't deserve our constant attention. This understanding allows us to navigate life more smoothly, focusing our efforts and energy on what really matters. It's as if we had an internal guide, reminding us to focus on what we can control and accept what we can't. This frees us from the burden of being overwhelmed. This frees us from the burden of excessive worry and allows us to live with more balance and serenity, even in the midst of the uncertainty of the world around us. So when faced with something that seems overwhelming, remember to ask yourself these simple questions. Can I control this? If yes, act with determination. If not, accept it and adapt. This simple but powerful approach enables us to find peace and contentment, regardless of external circumstances. Lesson 2. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius used to say, "The obstacle is the way." Our world is full of challenges, from small personal problems to major global crises. It could be something as simple as being late for a doctor's appointment, or even facing a global pandemic. Challenges are part of life for all of us, in one way or another. However, what if instead of seeing these challenges as problems, we saw them as opportunities in disguise? The Stoic philosophers taught us a powerful perspective on adversity. They believed that although we can't control every event that happens, we can control how we interpret it and how we react to it. This change of mindset turns challenges into valuable life lessons. They didn't say that obstacles become easier over time, but rather that we become stronger by facing them. A phrase by the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius sums up this idea well. The obstacle to action becomes the path to action. What is in the way becomes the way. This means that every obstacle, every challenge, can propel us forward if we choose to see it as an opportunity for growth. It won't be easy, but it will make us stronger. Imagine a tree growing in a field full of rocks and stones. Instead of being hindered by these obstacles, the tree develops deep roots that search for water and nutrients. It adapts to the challenging environment and, over time, its roots play an important role in breaking down the rocks and creating fertile soil around it. In this way, the rocks and difficult soil, which appeared to be obstacles, become agents of transformation that contribute to the tree's healthy growth. In the same way, in our lives, challenges can change our course, often leading to results we couldn't have predicted. For example, failure in a project, although initially painful, can open doors to something better, such as the development of new skills or the opportunity to start something new. Similarly, a relationship that didn't work out can teach us important lessons and prepare us for more meaningful future relationships. Imagine life's challenges as stones in the path of a fearless explorer. Each stone, however arduous it may seem, is not just an obstacle to be avoided, but an opportunity to strengthen and grow. The Stoics understood this perspective in a unique way, seeing in difficult moments the chance to rise above adverse circumstances. When we encounter difficulties, it's natural to have questions and feelings of frustration. However, instead of getting lost in whining and self-pity, the Stoic teachings invite us to change our approach. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can challenge ourselves to ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience?" This change in perspective not only allows us to face challenges with more courage and determination, but also opens us up to new possibilities for self-improvement. By adopting this growth mindset, we turn every obstacle into an opportunity for evolution. Just as the blacksmith forges iron under the intense heat of the furnace, we are shaped and polished by the adversities we face. Each challenge we overcome makes us more resilient, wiser, and better prepared to face future challenges. So, instead of fearing obstacles, embrace them as an inevitable part of life's journey. Like the explorer who faces unknown terrain, know that every step you take over the stones along the way brings you ever closer to your destination. Don't stop in the face of difficulties. Instead, see them as an opportunity to reach new heights of personal growth and fulfillment. Lesson 3. Practice gratitude. Among all the emotions humans can feel, gratitude is like a valuable treasure, stitching together happy, joyful, and meaningful moments in our lives. Although it may come naturally, the Stoics believed in practicing gratitude every day as a ritual to connect with the present and appreciate the good things in life. Gratitude isn't just saying thank you, it's recognizing all the things and people that make our lives better. It's finding beauty in the simple things, like a hot bath or a delicious meal. It's also learning from difficult moments and understanding that each experience is unique and special. Seneca, a famous philosopher, once said, "True happiness is enjoying the present without worrying too much about the future." This shows what gratitude is, living in the present moment and appreciating every little thing. This way of looking at the world is important to the Stoics because the present is the only thing we can control. Think of the little things we don't usually pay attention to. like the refreshing rain on a hot day, the sound of birds singing, or a warm hug from someone we love. When we stop to appreciate these moments, they become even more special in our lives. Practicing gratitude also helps us not to focus only on what we lack, but on what we already have. By looking at what we have instead of what we don't have, we cultivate joy, reduce envy, and feel happier. This helps us feel more connected to the other people around us, creating a sense of goodness in the world. And if you're wondering how to start practicing gratitude, it's simple. You can start by making a list of 5 things you're grateful for at the beginning or end of the day. But practicing gratitude goes beyond making lists. It's a profound change of perspective that can transform your life. Over time, this practice can make you see the world differently, noticing the good things and facing challenges with more strength. Gratitude helps us not only to recognize the good things we already have, but also to find value in the little things in everyday life, from a beautiful sunset to a kind smile from a stranger. Expressing gratitude goes far beyond just saying thank you. It's like nurturing the roots of a relationship, strengthening the bonds between people. When we recognize and give thanks for the kindness, support, or love we receive from others, we are building a solid foundation of human connection. Imagine gratitude as an invisible thread that connects hearts, creating a network of mutual support and understanding. In relationships where gratitude is cultivated, an atmosphere of happiness and respect flourishes. It's as if there were an invisible embrace that binds people together, strengthening them to face life's challenges together. When we express gratitude, we are not only acknowledging the kind gestures of others, but also repaying them with affection and appreciation. In a world that often pushes us to always seek more material goods, more achievements, more desires, gratitude invites us to pause and appreciate what we already have. It reminds us of the richness that is already present in our lives, encouraging us to value every moment and every experience, however simple they may seem. The true essence of life lies in the small daily joys and meaningful relationships we nurture over time. Thus, practicing gratitude is like watering a flower garden. The more we care for and cultivate this feeling, the more it flourishes and spreads around us. By living with gratitude, we are guided by a perspective of abundance and love, transforming not only our own lives but also the world around us, one gesture of kindness at a time. Lesson 4. Think before you react. In today's world, where technology is all-pervasive and everyone wants quick answers, thinking things through can seem like a thing of the past or even unnecessary. However, this ability to stop and think can help us in a world that pressures us to make decisions quickly. Think of all the times we have to make choices, big or small, from choosing what to eat in a restaurant to deciding on our professional future. There are many options, but it's not just the importance of the choices that matters, it's how we deal with them. Let's think about a common situation, receiving a message that makes us nervous. It could be a colleague questioning our work, or a friend saying something unexpected. Normally, our immediate reaction is defense or irritation. What if, instead of reacting immediately, we took a step back? This doesn't mean ignoring our emotions, it means giving them space to be understood. Reflection isn't just about passively accepting everything or avoiding situations. It's about actively interacting with our thoughts and feelings. It involves asking ourselves questions. Why has this affected me so much? What past experiences are influencing what I'm feeling now? Is my immediate reaction a result of the current situation or of things that have happened in the past? When we feel angry, it's often because our pride has been hurt, and asking why helps us to better understand this situation. In addition, reflecting before reacting helps us to develop empathy. By giving ourselves time, we can also consider other people's perspectives. Perhaps that colleague is having a difficult day, or that friend didn't realize how their words could have an impact. When we stop to think, it helps us to better understand not only ourselves, but also the people around us. In relationships, it's very important to do this. Many disagreements could be avoided if we thought a little before acting on impulse. How many friendships could be stronger if we were more careful instead of acting without thinking? It's in these moments of reflection that we can see things more clearly, understand other people's feelings, and connect better with them. Also, at work, it's very valuable to stop for a while and think before making decisions. Leaders who do this are generally more respected and efficient and manage to lead their teams better. People see them as attentive, thoughtful, and wise. The decisions they make after careful thought are usually the best in the long run. In a world that always seems to be rushing, stopping to reflect is a form of resistance. It's a powerful way of saying that we won't be carried away by the rush and the desire to do everything quickly. This isn't something that happens a lot, but it happens because we're so busy with our hectic lives that we often don't notice how we act in a hurry when making decisions. This means that we compromise on taking care of ourselves, understanding ourselves better, and having better relationships with the people around us. Deep down, stopping and thinking before acting isn't just something we do. It's a way of living, a way of thinking that values understanding deeply rather than reacting without thinking, and values important relationships rather than fleeting things. This profoundly affects how we relate to the world around us, not only affecting our responses, but also how we organize our lives. When we react too quickly, it makes us anxious, which makes it difficult to think clearly and calmly. In today's world, this is even more common because of social media and the constant desire for news. But this is not healthy. The Stoics were good at protecting their minds against impulsive reactions and anxiety. If you want to learn more about how to deal with anxiety as the Stoics did, I've left a video in the first comment to help you overcome this problem. Lesson 5. Practice detachment. In a world where we often feel like we're on a roller coaster of emotions, it may seem strange or even insensitive to talk about practicing detachment, but let's explore what it really means and how powerful it is. Detachment doesn't mean stifling emotions or becoming indifferent to the world around us. It's about maintaining a balanced view, an inner calm, even when everything is hectic. Imagine being able to observe events, situations, and even your own feelings without being overwhelmed by them. It's like watching an exciting movie. Have you ever found yourself tense, excited, or even sad while watching a movie? While you were immersed in the story, a part of you always knew that it was just fiction and not reality. You didn't run out to help the hero or console the character who was crying. You just watched, felt, but stayed in your seat. This is practicing detachment, being deeply connected to life, experiencing all the emotions, but also knowing when to remain the spectator in the audience of your mind, watching without getting lost in the drama. This approach is a relief in our modern age, where we are bombarded with constant information. If we reacted intensely to every piece of news, we would be constantly exhausted. Detachment offers us a kind of protection, a more sustainable and balanced way of relating to the world. It also helps us realize that we are not our thoughts. We are the ones observing them. We can feel, experience, and even question ourselves, but we are not them, we are the observers. The way we behave in our relationships, whether with friends or boyfriends, is very important. We've all experienced times when conversations have become tense and misunderstandings have arisen. At such times, acting with moderation can make all the difference between resolving a problem constructively or only making it worse. This means listening calmly and impartially, responding rather than simply reacting, and handling conflicts with understanding and class. Learning to distance yourself starts with self-knowledge. It's like being in the movie theater, feeling the emotions of the character in the film, regularly checking in with ourselves, recognizing what makes us emotionally upset, and understanding our patterns creates a space between what happens and our reaction. In this space, we have the freedom to choose how we respond, acting with purpose rather than impulsivity. It is therefore important to pay attention to this moment of reflection, as it is what guides us when making decisions. In a world marked by the constant search for immediate satisfaction and the unbridled accumulation of material goods, the concept of detachment may seem strange at first glance. After all, how can we distance ourselves from the good things in life without losing their essence? Surprisingly, it is precisely in letting go that we discover the true preciousness of these experiences. Imagining a sunny afternoon spent in the company of good friends. Every moment is filled with laughter, shared stories, and a sense of fulfillment. However, if we become excessively attached to the idea that this happiness should last forever, we run the risk of spoiling the present moment with worries about its eventual end. By practicing detachment, we are able to savor each moment with gratitude and appreciation, without the weight of expectation or fear of the future. Detachment doesn't deprive us of life's joys. On the contrary, it amplifies them. By releasing the need to control every outcome and surrendering to the fluidity of the present moment, we discover an inner freedom that allows us to truly enjoy the journey. Each experience becomes richer, more vibrant, because we are no longer worried about what lies ahead or what we might miss. In addition, detachment enables us to offer genuine support to others. When we are calm and centered, we are able to listen with empathy and offer helpful advice, without letting our own anxieties contaminate the conversation. This approach creates a safe space where people feel free to share their deepest feelings, fostering an authentic and meaningful connection. Therefore, by embracing detachment, we not only enrich our own lives, but also create an environment of serenity and understanding around us. In such a hectic and frenetic world, this quality of presence and inner peace is truly valuable, capable of brightening even the darkest moments. Lesson 6. Ask yourself if this will matter in 5 years' time. Life puts us to the test all the time, with situations that test our patience and inner strength. From minor annoyances, like losing the key to the door, to major conflicts with loved ones, we face a roller coaster of emotions every day. When we're in the heat of the situation, it's easy to get carried away by the emotions of the moment. Delays, criticism, or even forgetting a birthday can seem like huge problems. But one simple question can change everything. Will this matter in 5 years' time? This question helps us look to the future and reassess the importance of what is happening now. We can see things more clearly and understand whether they really matter in the grand scheme of life. Suddenly, those heated arguments or the things we've lost don't seem so big. Most of the problems that worry us today will be insignificant in the future. Think about the challenges you faced 5 years ago. How many of them are still important today? Many of them have been overcome with time, new experiences and lessons learned. This makes us realize that we often worry about things that aren't so worthwhile. It also helps us to have compassion for others, because we understand that even if something affects us, it may not be intentional. Asking this question regularly helps us prioritize our concerns and distinguish between temporary problems and long-term issues. For example, a difficult day at work may seem terrible at the moment, but looking back over a lifetime, it's just one day in a long career. This perspective helps us deal better with challenges and find solutions. Instead of getting stuck in the problems of the moment, we can develop strategies and move forward, knowing that time brings clarity and resolutions. This approach encourages us to focus on what really matters and not feel so overwhelmed. If we stop to reflect, we realize that there is a beauty in what endures over time, something that doesn't dissipate with the passing of days or seasons. It's as if life presents us with a subtle challenge to distinguish between the ephemeral and the eternal, between the superficial and the substantial. It is in this context that questions arise that are as crucial as they are simple. Will this matter in 5 years' time? This seemingly simple question carries with it a transformative power. It invites us to examine our actions, choices, and priorities through a wider lens, allowing us to discern between what is truly significant and what is merely fleeting. In a world driven by instantaneity and the incessant search for immediate gratification, this question serves as a compass, guiding us towards a deeper and more authentic life. If we consider the most valuable aspects of existence, we soon realize that many of them are built over time, through continuous investments of energy, commitment, and dedication. Just as a tree grows gradually, extending its roots deeper and deeper into the fertile soil, or as a baby develops slowly in its mother's womb, life's true treasures take time to develop fully. Therefore, by getting into the habit of asking ourselves about the future relevance of our actions and choices, we are guided to invest in meaningful relationships, continuous personal growth, and experiences that will stand the test of time. This practice allows us to live in a way that is more aligned with our values and purpose, ensuring that our time and energy are directed towards what truly matters in our journey through life. Lesson 7. Keep a Stoic diary. Writing in a diary has been something valued in different cultures and times, not only to record what happens, but also as a way to think about ourselves, grow, and understand more about who we are. The Stoics, who highly valued the idea of getting to know oneself and growing as a person, also liked to keep diaries. For them, a diary wasn't just for writing down what happened during the day, but also for reflecting on how they felt, what choices they made, and how they reacted to things. It was a place where the world outside met the world inside them, where the events of the day met their personal thoughts and values. It was like a conversation with themselves, where they could think about what they did and what they thought. The diary was a safe, non-judgmental place to see how their mind worked. Imagine ending the day not only by writing about what happened, but also by thinking about how you felt at different times. Why were you upset by something that happened simply? What made you feel happy during an ordinary task? By doing this, we begin to better understand our patterns of thought and emotion. We begin to recognize what makes us happy or sad, what values guide our choices, and what habits shape our routine. This helps us understand what our mind considers good or bad. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, kept a diary called Meditations. It wasn't meant to be read by other people. It was a personal space where he could guide himself, remember Stoic teachings, and face life's challenges with wisdom. Through what he wrote, we see a man dealing with his responsibilities, controlling his emotions and trying to understand his place in the world. But you don't have to be an emperor to benefit from a diary like Marcus Aurelius. In fact, it's even easier because Marcus Aurelius could use his money and power to waste his life on frivolous things like extravagant parties, overeating and watching violent games in the Colosseum. Even in our modern lives, full of distractions and too much information, taking time to think about ourselves is very important. A brief moment of reflection every day helps center us and brings clarity amidst all the confusion. Over time, this can help us understand important things about ourselves. Maybe you'll realize that certain situations always stress you out and you'll start to deal with them better, or maybe you'll discover that practices like being grateful or practicing mindfulness improve your mood and your view of the world. Imagine your Stoic diary as a reliable ally, always ready to guide you through life's crossroads. It's a safe space where you can reflect on your experiences, write down your deepest thoughts, and record your moments of personal growth. By taking the time to write down your daily reflections, you not only process the day's events better, but you also become more aware of your choices and actions. Taking responsibility for our actions is fundamental to personal development. When we record our experiences in the Stoic diary, we are taking a courageous step towards self-awareness and self-mastery. There is no room for excuses or justifications. It is an exercise in brutal honesty with oneself. This practice pushes us to face our mistakes head-on, learn from them, and constantly seek improvement. What's more, writing has a transformative power. By putting our thoughts down on paper, we give shape to our ideas and emotions, making them more tangible and clear. This allows us to revisit these reflections in the future, recalling lessons learned and charting our progress over time. Sometimes it's surprising to see how much we've evolved when we look back and revisit our old notes. So, keeping a Stoic diary is not just a chore, but a commitment to yourself. It is an act of self-discovery and self-transformation, guided by the principles of ancient wisdom. With every word you write, you strengthen your connection with yourself and with the timeless teachings that shape your journey.